On this remarkably busy Saturday on the Marian University campus, we welcome you to the first of 4 broadcasts we've got featuring the Knights on the ISC Sports Network, and this is the only one that isn't an NAIA playoff match. However, it could easily be 2 teams that play in the national tournament because they did a year ago. For the first time since playing on this court for the conference championship last February, it is Indiana Wesleyan and Marian. Alongside Pete Smith, my name is Greg Rakestraw. Thanks for joining us. Today's broadcast presented in part by Ascension St. Vincent, committed to providing you with personalized, compassionate care. By IMCU, proud to support Marian University. By Pepsi, grab a Pepsi and get in the game. By Ray's Trash Services, proud partner of Marian University, and by AAA Roofing. Trust the pros at AAA Roofing. And our pregame show is a service of Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi and get some friends and get in the game. Pepsi, a proud supporter of the Marian University Knights. Once again, alongside Pete Smith, my name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got women's basketball, playoff football, playoff women's soccer, and playoff volleyball to bring you on the ISC Sports Network. A remarkably busy day, so this game does not need to take a backseat to anyone because, Pete, we've got the 10th and 13th ranked teams in the country in Marian and Indiana Wesleyan playing this afternoon.
Yeah, tough start to the season. Normally get a few cupcakes. This is only the 6th game for Marian this year, while Iowa's played 7, but a great way to start the year. And actually, this game was supposed to be a little bit later in the day, but as you've alluded to, what a crazy day here at Marian University.
So again, the men's game was moved to last night with Indiana Wesleyan impressively winning at the PE Center, led that game by 20 for a good chunk of it. Indiana Wesleyan women kind of declined to move their game, and for a good reason. They played Wednesday night, wanted to make sure the extra day of rest before they played. So this game was bumped up from its usual 1 o'clock start time to noon. But again, the thing that catches my attention is the fact this is the first of 18 games that these 2 teams will play in the Crossroads League. And for a second year in a row, Indiana Wesleyan and Marian draw each other in the first game of the year.
With an opener, and here we go.
Amani Guy will jump at center. Jordan Reed will have the honors for Indiana Wesleyan, and we are off and running. We have the starting lineups to you on the fly. Downard, Bossy, Guy, Gerard, and Ella Collier, who has the ball in her hands now. On the starting 5 for head coach Steve Brooks, the former Indiana Wesleyan head coach. Collier will fire from 18, does not get the roll, but this is what that size of Marian gives him. Second and third looks as the former Pike Red Devil, and Kennedy Gerard tracks down the rebound and extends the possession for the Knights.
I love the storyline of Steve Brooks. We'll get into it a little bit later, but coming back here, your first conference game, coaching against your former team right away.
Great hustle by Abby Downard, the 5th-year senior who literally played her high school basketball down the street at Cardinal Ritter High School. Her dad, the longtime coach at Cardinal Ritter. Abby, as well as Amani Guy, both electing to come back and play the extra given to them because of the COVID pandemic.
Great
and
possession.
If Guy gets the ball there, nothing Indiana Wesleyan can do to stop it.
No, that was a great possession. They hustle play, got the 50-50 ball. You can take off that much time, almost a whole minute, and get a good shot like that for a layup. You'll take that.
We'll get the 5 on the floor to you now for Indiana Wesleyan. Maddie Lawrence, Madison Davis, Damon Bailey Van Dyke, and Jordan Reed, the 5 on the floor for this Indiana Wesleyan team that made the national semifinals a season ago. Turnover committed as the former Winchester Golden Falcon and Maddie Lawrence loses the ball on the baseline.
That's a tough pass to catch, long entry pass. You like about 10 to 12 feet entry passes. That was outside the 3-point ring.
And Maddie really a player for Wesleyan, Pete, that can play almost any of the 5 positions. She was really a point guard on her high school team that made back-to-back state championship games.
Yeah, she has a great handle for being as versatile as she is.
Marian last year went undefeated in the league in the regular season. Only have Iowa knock them off in the conference championship game. And, Pete, we have already seen 3 offensive rebounds the first 2 times down the floor for Marian.
A lot of energy. I'll tell you, Marian's coming out with a lot of energy. Lost a couple games early so far, but the conference is when it really starts here for these 2 teams, and you've got it right now.
And Marian won on Tuesday night, beating a much-improved IU East squad. On the backdoor cut, that ball was touched last by Downard. It'll be Indiana Wesleyan basketball with 11 on the 30.
Both teams just playing man-to-man defense so far. Nothing tricky here to start the game here. America's play. When I say America's play, it's what we call screen the screener. Let's see if they run it again.
I think we have a clock issue, hence that's the reason for the momentary delay. By the way, our three-man officiating crew, John Toddy, Mark Gines, and Ryan Kent, taking care of that. And so you've got the third official over by the scorers table currently to make sure any sort of clock issues are resolved.
Back to America's play here, Greg, real quick. So Damon's going to set the screen for Reed, and then Reed's going to get the screen for Van Dyke and try to get the ball in the corner if they run the same play they're going to. Boom. Boom. And if she slips, she's got a layup maybe, but...
Ball finds the inbounder in Lawrence. Lawrence getting up through the tall timbers. Ball's got to go right back up because it didn't hit the rim. Shot clock is at 2. Shot in time, but doesn't hit the rim. Shot clock violation, and Coach Brooks applauding as well he should. Should be liking what he's seeing from his team's intensity right from the start.
Oh, right from the start. And you wonder how, they know it's a big game for Coach Brooks, former coach at IWU, and now he's coaching their arch rival. And the last time Marian lost was to IWU, and he was coaching them.
Let's face it, you can stop at Marian and Indiana Wesleyan, and that's all you need. But all the other details that factor into this one. Downard gets a good look from 15.
Yeah, put that one in the books right away. When she came off that screen, she had 2 steps wide open and got a chance to square.
Again, Marian really played much better in half 2 than they did in half number 1 against IU East. See if that momentum carries over in this game. Lawrence lets fire for 3. That does not go. Again, that is in her arsenal, capable of knocking him down from anywhere on the floor. Here's Bossy, the former Indiana All-Star, one of 2 in the starting 5 for Marian. Ella Collier being the other. Both of them sophomores from Hendricks County. And here's Guy. And Guy going to be fouled by Lawrence.
I thought there was pretty good reach there. I was hoping they would catch.
Amani began her college basketball days at the University of Southern Indiana. She is from Columbus.
Played for Coach McKee.
One of 2 Columbus North Bulldogs on this Marian roster. The freshman McKinley you'll see off the bench. Another.
Nice curl.
The slip by Bossy.
Yeah.
Bossy not a player that looks to score a lot with this group, but she'll take the open layup.
Again, if you're watching, that was America's play again, only this time, instead of going to the corner, curled around the screener play, and with no help side defense, got the layup. And right now, Marian is looking outstanding here to start this contest.
This is Jordan Reed, former New Pal star.
Good entry pass there.
And Yai with the double. Does a great job of finding Downard, who finds the bucket.
Timeout.
10-0. And
timeout.
It's like Pete coached for 30 years or something like that as he saw the timeout coming. And, again, what a fantastic start for Marian.
Sure is.
We'll keep it right here. Let's thank our friends at BSN Sports. Thank you to BSN. They are the preferred provider of apparel for Marian Night Athletics. So far, Indiana Wesleyan 0 for 3 with 3 turnovers. Marian 5 for 8. They've picked up 4 rebounds so far, and literally they have rebounded all 3 shots they have missed so far in this game.
Yeah, 8 shots. I like your odds when the other team's only shot it 3 times, that you're going to be ahead here. And here's another good offensive rebound right there with the putback.
Let's talk about Amani Guy coming in, averaging 16.5 points, 6.5 rebounds a game, a career-high 30 in the victory against IU East. She was 14 of 18 from the floor on Tuesday night.
Yeah, at this level, she's just an outstanding player. At any level. I mean, at any level, but boy, at this level, she's just really finding her niche.
That may have been the best look so far for Indiana Wesleyan. Reed couldn't get the bucket to go from 15. Helped lead her New Pal squad to the regional in her senior season. Playing for Sarah Gizzi. Beautiful step through by Gerard, and there's Amani Guy. The trend continues. 4 missed shots. Marian's rebounded them all.
I tell you, Indiana Wesleyan needs to start blocking out here because they're not making any contact on the shots when they go up. They're going to get killed on the boards, no matter how many talented players they have, and they have some talent. There's the most talented one right there when it comes to athleticism.
And Marian switching screens as well every time through at this point. Lawrence, the jump stop. Collier got the foul. And finally, Indiana Wesleyan's on the board.
Yeah, a nice drive, got underneath the defender's elbow there, as you saw, and knocked her down. As you're going to see, I knew it was coming there right there.
So here is Maddie Lawrence. Maddie, third leading scorer so far this year for Indiana Wesleyan. 11.5 points a game. 5.5 rebounds as well. And again, to show her versatility, leads the team in assists so far on the season. But misses from the line. Good hustle on the rebound, though. That's Van Dyke.
First offensive rebound of the game for them. Rebound period, I think.
And Lawrence, the runner, no. And eventually, Amani Guy will track it down. It was surprisingly one-sided last night in favor of Indiana Wesleyan. Marian trying to reverse that here in the women's game today.
There's the back cut.
Shot clock at 11. Another cut to the basket by Bossy. Missed that one. But another offensive rebound. This one does not go. Guy is tied up. The arrow should point to Indiana Wesleyan, and it will.
Boy, they've just got to start blocking out. If you can see, there's not any contact on the body. And look at Guy just come in there without a body on her over two players to grab the rebound.
And if there's one player you have to put a body on, that would be Amani Guy. By the way, Claire Merrill has checked in.
Northwestern.
Correct.
Northwestern Tiger.
Former state champ. And Lily Frazier, one of the all-time leading scorers in the history of Indiana high school basketball. And the leading scorer per game for Wesleyan as a freshman, played at North Judson San Pierre, led her team to the semi-state round last year. She's averaging 14 points a game. She has come off the bench in every game but one so far for the Wildcats.
Probably the second best player I'd say ever out of North Judson in female basketball. Debbie Bolin was an outstanding player. Got a chance to watch her when I was coaching up at Penn.
Jade Nutley is in there as well, freshman from Madison High School, wearing number 0.
Good defense.
Ball goes up on the 3.
Yeah, she helped and recovered really nicely there.
Fight for the loose ball. Merrill will track it down. That ball, though, kicked off the leg of Downard and just couldn't get there in time.
I was waiting for the nosedive to see if she could keep it in bounds, but I don't blame her. But outstanding hustle there. Pretty nice crowd for a noon start today, Greg.
Well, when these two teams get together,
yeah,
people tend to show up.
It is a rivalry, yes. Rivalry game.
See, Indiana Wesleyan has gone to the bench early and often so far. Marian has kept their starting 5 intact together. Frazier on the drive and scoop and score.
That's the one thing you can do against Guy is you can get that ball underneath your elbow. You can get the shot off. Sometimes you get a kind of a cheap foul when that happens, but
Adriana Trexler, by the way, has checked in, another state championship level player from her days at Oak Hill High School. Downard, the runner, no. And again, for all the things that Marian has done well, shooting has gone a bit cold for them. They've been stuck on 12 now for a while.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier you're switching all screens at the top on the wings. Not a lot of screens going on, though.
Right.
I mean, it's not like Wesleyan setting a lot of good screens. Most of them are just ball cuts, basket cuts.
You hear the countdown. Trexler with the mismatch. Good idea, but got the rebound. And Wesleyan now finding their footing. It's back within 6.
Yeah, she did a good job following her shot on that one. Again, no contact. Not a lot. It's just the way the game's changed. I sound like an old battle axe, but there's not a lot of good blockouts anymore. It's kind of like a lost art of rebounding. Should be a screen at the top here. There we go to Guy.
And Guy has a seam, and Guy has a bucket and an and one opportunity. And again, simply put, you cannot let her catch the ball there if you're Indiana Wesleyan.
And you just referred to the fact the last couple shots, possessions, they didn't make good shots. This time they came down, made sure that Guy got the ball in her hands to get the ball in her shooting range.
So Amani Guy with 6 quick points. First free throw taken of this game by Marian. And Amani connects. On the season, Amani 5 of 8 from the stripe. Marian has not gotten to the line a lot. They are averaging less than 8 free throws a game so far. They made just 61%.
Well, Guy getting a break here, so now you'll probably see more of an outside perimeter look for Marian.
Trexler, that's a long two. Not that time, and Merrill will track it down. And this second unit did a much better job of crashing the glass for Wesleyan. Trexler, shot left short.
Partially blocked, I think.
That is majestic sails into the game for Marian. Transfer from Walsh University to Division II level from Massillon, Ohio.
Home of the Massillon Tigers.
Although that's not the high school she attended.
No, she didn't.
But yes, a very famous high school football program.
Paul Brown Field.
Correct.
Paul Brown Field, pulling that out of left field there.
Blocking foul called against Indiana Wesleyan. By the way, Jayla Wayner is in, the sophomore from Pittsburgh, wearing number 1 on your screen. And Marian has not gone as deep into the bench so far this year as they did a year ago under Katie Gerald's.
Right. I was looking at that stat line here. And now, empty post here pretty much. There is the one post now in there for Marian. 4 out, 1 in.
And Wayner had it knocked away by Frazier. Wayner, the backup point guard to Downard, but she and Downard on the floor together currently for the Knights. Here's Shanice McQuay. I know Shanice's family is watching us in Utah today. Good morning to those of you watching in Utah. Shanice, quite the weapon that can be brought in off the bench for Marian. Averaging 5 points and 3.5 boards a game. Downard, contested shot, but had to go up because of the shot clock.
Yeah, tough shot.
Here's Jordan Reed. And again, she can rebound and lead the break. You really see kind of the concept of positionless basketball for this Indiana Wesleyan squad. Frazier inadvertently pulled an ollie and kicked that one.
Good choice. There's your post. Wait for your post. There you go.
Sails off the window and scores.
Excellent. I love that. Didn't make the quick reversal. Waited for her post to get down to the block.
First bench points of the game for Marian. They have pushed the lead back to 11. Here in the final minute of quarter number 1. Deep 3 for Wesleyan. Barely grazes the rim. But Reed flying across the floor to get an extra possession. Shot taken and missed by Damon. And Indiana Wesleyan now 3 of 14 from the floor.
Well, I credit Marian's defense. They're really switching up well on the perimeter. They're not getting any good looks. Very few good looks.
See a 7-second difference shot clock and game clock here. Shot clock now at 10. Downard on the drive. Good take.
Wow.
And finishes. Downard has her third field goal, 6 points in total. Lead grows to 13. Frazier sizing up the clock. Left hand does not go. And Steve Brooks should be fired up. You can see him in the background as his team takes a 13-point lead to quarter number 2 in this matchup of teams ranked nationally in the top 15. Marian 19, Indiana Wesleyan 6. And we're back in a moment on the ISC Sports Network.
This is the Pepsi for America's best barbecue. Worthy of 100-mile detours and 1,000 likes. Looks good. This is the Pepsi for mopping, dipping, and dousing. Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you. This is the Pepsi for serious fans and serious eats. This is the Pepsi for Sundays at the ballpark and days off at your favorite pizza joint. Right, Aaron?
Best slice in New York.
Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you.
Welcome back to the PE Center. Greg Rakestraw, Pete Smith with you. This reminder, fans, you can get all the up-to-the-minute information on Marian Knights athletics at MUKnights.com. And be sure to follow on Twitter at MUKnights. MU Knights. The Knights out to a 19-6 lead, and we referenced the fact that Marian rebounded their first 4 missed shots. Now, credit to Indiana Wesleyan. They ended up pulling up more offensive rebounds than Marian did in quarter number 1, 6-5. But Marian shooting 9 of 17. Indiana Wesleyan, 3 of 15 in quarter number 1.
Yeah, super defense by the Knights. Almost every shot's been contested.
Gerard and Guy back on the floor together. McQuay, Bossy, and Downard, the immediate double.
Nice look.
Gerard gets a free throw line jump shot that does not fall, but McQuay had inside position. Frazier's going to be whistled for the foul, and Marian maintains possession.
Complete domination of the rebounding category so far has given Marian so many more shots. So you don't have to shoot very well when you get almost twice as many shots up as the other team.
Other stat that jumps off the page is points off turnovers. 8-0 in favor of Marian, and McQuay with the easy lay-in.
Saw there was no help side defense, just walked her down with a spin dribble.
The drive by Davis, and Guy altered it. I think Davis touched it last, and even on the shots that she doesn't completely block, she has an impact on everything within 10 feet of the rim.
You can't teach size.
No.
I coached for 30-some years.
You learned that, huh?
Can't teach size, no. I mean, you can play bigger than you are, but you can't teach size. Oh, that's a bad place to try to get a ball screen right in front of the free throw line extended.
Marian able to escape. Again, a good double. Good hands by Reed.
That's probably the best defensive pressure I've seen so far out of IWU. Different team not having Dayton Groninger on this IWU team. Former Warsaw Tiger, had an outstanding career here. Now in grad school.
Shot clock at 3. McQuay
Step
has
back.
to go up. Again, that was a good shot because she got it on the rim, and Guy does the rest. Amani Guy now with 5 rebounds and 9 points.
Boy, just had a nice touch so far in this game. I mean, she's had a couple tough angles on her offensive putbacks and just has a really good touch today.
10 second chance points for the Knights. 4 so far for Indiana Wesleyan. 3 by Damon up and over the backboard.
I'm sorry I'm sounding like a broken record, but that's outstanding defense. Cut off the baseline drive on the skip pass out. Came up with both hands. It was a contested deeper 3. She had to rush it a little bit. Knights are playing great defense so far against the Wildcats.
Opponents are scoring about 59 a game against Marian so far. Marian scoring in the upper 60s on a per-game basis.
But I have a feeling Marian's not played this well defensively.
No.
I mean, you can tell it's the rivalry game. The conference season started. Here comes Crossroad action.
Again on the post double. The kick out Guy from 15, and she's knocking that down.
Whoa.
Good night.
Yep, no answer right now. The Wildcats have no answer for as well as the Knights are playing.
It is 13 consecutive points scored by Marian. After starting the game on a 10-0 run, now 13 in a row for Marian. Frazier looking to go
There's
to work.
the back cut, but still good help by Guy there.
And another turnover, and that'll be a foul. Again, Lawrence, inadvertent contact, but
It was.
you have to call that because it would have been a loss of possession.
Sometimes you just get in a position you can't take yourself out of, and Lawrence
Right.
in that situation, she had her hands up and she was looking at us going, what'd I do? Well, you didn't do anything. You just were in a bad spot at a bad time because of the pass, the errant pass that your teammate threw out.
Downard will come off the floor for the first time today as Wayner comes in to replace her. Good hands by Davis. Davis transfer from Cal Baptist from Rockford, Illinois. Cal Baptist, a school that's beginning the process of going to Division I, and oh my goodness, Amani Guy for 3. Trust me, folks, that's not normally in the repertoire because that is her first three-pointer attempted
Wow.
in 6 games this year. And now Nutley is fouled by McQuay, and
And I can tell you as a coach, you hope fool's gold doesn't come into play here.
where you start shooting them more.
Well, boy, I'm 1 for 1 on the year. Take a look on the foul here.
So Jade on the season, 4 points and 2 rebounds a game. And freshman from Madison High School. Played against a great level of competition at Madison. during their days in the Hoosier Hills Conference, although they have since
They've
left
changed,
they've since left the league. And again, that's an acknowledgement of they had been by far the smallest school in that league for some time. So back-to-back free throws. First free throws made by the Wildcats today, and trying to pick up the pace defensively. And when you don't make shots, it's hard to pick up a full-court press. Can't do it.
No. Coach Whaley just has had no answer for everything that he's tried to counter with so far.
McQuay, that's a tough pass.
Nice passing,
And Reed got stuck in the air. So 2 free throws coming up for Kennedy Girard.
I appreciate what Marian's doing fundamentally. I mean, that here, great view here. Look at the bounce pass. Even though that was a tough pass, it was a nice catchable bounce pass. And she was down low, gave the opportunity there for her to catch it, and that's too close to the basket.
Girard gets the free throw to go, and you see those fundamentals and you see the connectivity that Marian has. This is what happens when the 8 players you have played so far all come back from the previous season.
Right.
Even if it's a new coach, walk into a great scenario. And again, 2 of those players were players that because of the COVID pandemic got an extra year. Players like Amani Guy and Abby Downard. Only Macy Willoughby of last year's senior class, who was, again, one of the best ever play at Marian, elected to not come back. And we have another timeout on the floor as Marian's lead has now stretched to 30-8 to start this game. And again, folks, this is a nationally ranked team that Marian leads by 22. Let's step away. Back in just a moment as you're watching Marian University Knights women's basketball here on the ISC Sports Network.
The minute I stepped foot on campus, I didn't want to leave.
Everyone here is about helping you succeed.
It's hard work, but it's totally worth it.
I have so much support from my advisors.
The nursing program is why I chose Marian.
I'm studying to be a teacher.
I'm a business major.
My professors really challenge me, and I know I'll be ready for my career.
A great education is the best thing you could ever do for yourself.
Marian University, an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Back inside the PE Center, and that is not a typo. That is the actual score. Marian leading Indiana Wesleyan 30-8. The Knights, again, a lot of motivating factors, suffering a loss to Indiana Wesleyan in the conference championship game. A season ago, certainly part of that. But this is frankly the high caliber of play we thought we would see from this Marian team all season long.
Yeah, off to a slow start at 2-2 or 3-2 coming into this game with the win over IU East the other night. Nice drive. Wow. Whew. I'm just a little speechless. I mean, Wesleyan is not playing any help side defense. If you get past your defender, the Knights have had just easy shots to the basket. Even though they haven't connected all of them, they've got tons of offensive rebounds if they've missed.
Way off the bench with her second bucket. Nutley, that'll be another turnover. Turnover number 7 committed by Indiana Wesleyan.
So in that play, for instance, Greg, they fronted the post, but she had help behind. Wesley's not had any help behind defensively for Guy or anybody tonight, or this afternoon, I should say.
This Wesleyan team 6-1, their lone loss coming at nationally ranked Central Methodist a couple of weeks ago. Amani Guy stepped through and bucket.
You know, when I coach these games and they happen to me, I would like pinch myself and say, how are we going to continue this intensity? But at the other end of it, when you're playing the other way of it, it's just so tough. When you just have no answers, you can't combat. Marian's just, they're playing a great game here this afternoon for a quarter and a half at least.
Nutley gets the 3, and that is the first made 3 for Indiana Wesleyan in 6 tries.
And again, as you mentioned, coming with some man-to-man pressure right now, guarding the ball all the way up, trying to take some shot clock at least down for him. They've done a good job using the shot clock. They've been patient. They found their inside player and Guy who's just,
right idea, but Indiana Wesleyan had the double, and that is the first Marian turnover of the game. And then Guy gets it right back.
Boy, you love that as a coach when when you can have your player just do an unfundamentally sound thing and try to make a one-hand pass over a defensive player, but come back and front the post and get the ball back.
Here's Wayner.
Good choice, good patience.
Now McQuay doesn't get it to go. Coach Brooks again saying high hands.
Well, that's because he had a mouse in the house that time. Wayner was guarding the post player there for Iwu, and there was a mismatch. And
yep. And that's the result when you're switching those screens.
Right.
That's going to happen.
That's the one thing. And so far, that's one of the rare times that Indiana Wesleyan has taken advantage of the switching defense for an inside opportunity.
Merrill and Van Dyke return for Indiana Wesleyan. Indiana Wesleyan's played 9. Marian's played 8.
America's place.
Here's Davis. Shot clock at 15. A help side on the double.
Yeah, good entry feed.
But again, it was the 2 guards on the double, and Van Dyke took advantage of it. And we'll see 2 free throws coming up for Indiana Wesleyan.
Just that half second, Greg, is that half second of when you shoot it and when you come back down, you have that advantage over the defensive player to get your own offensive shot around the basket.
30-second timeout taken by Marian. We'll keep it right here with 4:09 left to go before we get to halftime. Let's thank our friends at the Michaelis Corporation. Michaelis, a proud supporter of Marian University Athletics. No one answers your prayers or the phones quicker than the folks at Michaelis. See the number on your screen. Give them a call, 844-FIX-INDY. So you got a 23-point lead if you're Steve Brooks. What do you see that you're calling a timeout for?
Well, that's a good question. You know, college basketball is a little different than my expertise in the high school game from the standpoint of shot clock, using the shot clock, being patient, guys having a great game. Let's run everything through her right now. I mean, the last shot that McQuay just took, maybe a little rushed. I'd just been complimentary of the last person who touched it, saying good choice. McQuay a little bit quick on that. But also I think maybe you're talking defensively on the fact that, you know, now they're starting to see some changes offensively, and Indiana Wesleyan starting to take advantage of the switches. They're not just looking on the perimeter to try to get mismatches, and you're probably talking about that a little bit. And also just, you know, they're playing at such a great pace, give them a little bit of a break here. And again, talking about the pressure, because you're probably going to see some double teams there, especially if a guy gets that close to the ball. Her players are going to double here.
Van Dyke goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. She's 9 of 14 on the season. Marian trying to close this out strong. A triple team. Good job by Merrill to tie up Amani Guy, and the arrow will point the other direction. Just the second Marian turnover.
Yeah, I think Iwu is really trying to swarm it every time Guy gets the ball now and see if she can get it out of the double and triple team, as you just said. Okay, this is the first offensive set we've seen on this one that they've run this play. Okay, so Iowa used to run this a lot for Peter Jock to get an inside layup. Good defense, though, by Marian.
Frazier, the runner, not there.
Split. Yeah.
The Gerard, the rebound for Marian. The Knights a 10-point run, followed by a 15-point run. Help stretch this lead now to 22. Gerard, Downard, missed everything.
Came out of her hand funky. Just a little funky there when she shot it.
It's just the second 3 that Marian has attempted so far in this game, and Bossy poked it away, and then Guy able to track it down. That is the 10th Indiana Wesleyan turnover.
And that is a backbreaker when you get someone to shoot an air ball at one end and then you come down and don't even get a shot up.
Bossy turns down the 3.
Swing it.
Ball movement crisp.
Guy is feeling it. She got a little bit too deep on the baseline there, but she is feeling it when she's driving on the baseline.
She is 7 of 9 from the floor as Guy after being 14 of 18 on Tuesday. And Merrill just couldn't find no room at the end. Tried to pick the pocket of Guy, is going to be tied up, and the arrow will give it back. to Marian. You think Coach Brooks a little fired up about playing Indiana Wesleyan today?
You know, you can say it's just another game, but you're starting Crossroads League. You're playing against your former team that you did, you coached for all those years, and it's just different.
He went from Indiana Wesleyan to St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois. And then when Katie Gerald's made the move to Purdue in the offseason, he was hired to come back to the Hoosier State. And two-time national champs at Indiana Wesleyan. St. Francis actually played at Marian in the tournament last year. Marian's been sitting on 34 now for a while, but Indiana Wesleyan able to put a dent into it. Bossy gets tied up, and we'll go right back the other way. So credit Indiana Wesleyan. They figured some things out defensively to slow Marian down. They just can't find the rhythm offensively. They're 4 of 21 from the field.
They still have to put the ball in the basket. It is not happening so far. Guy getting a break. Let's see if they can attack the rim a little bit with her out of the contest.
I mean, you'll see the bigs handle the ball for this Indiana Wesleyan team because they've got it in their skill set. And that's going to be a blocking foul against Allison Bossy. Those two played against each other in the regional 2 years ago at Decatur Central,
which
Brownsburg
was nice.
and New Pal.
Yep, you saw them helping each other up.
Yep. And again, all these in-state kids, whether it's high school ball, AAU, etc., everybody knows everybody. We played against each other for so many years. Sales back in there as Coach referenced, getting Guy a breather.
Nice.
Immediate slip to Trexler, misses one. Second opportunity does not go. Sales just keeps battling and eventually comes out of there with it. So the song remains the same.
Yeah, my point scored in the last minute, at least.
Been longer than that.
Yeah. Good patience there. They got the post player open there.
Gerard.
Wasn't a great entry pass to Gerard.
Doubled and then lost the handle. Yeah. Well, Marian now 4 turnovers. They all have kind of come in the last 4 or 5 minutes. From a foul standpoint, Downard 2 and Collier 2. Part of the reason why Collier has played so little, played just 6 minutes in this game. And we're learning more and more about Coach Brooks as we do more games. And clearly he is of the opinion you get 2 fouls, you sit until halftime.
I would say in general that's been a rule of thumb for most coaches nowadays. You just get 2 and you let them sit for a while. You don't want to take that third. Unless you get the offensive possession back for the last shot.
Lawrence gets the bucket. So Maddie Lawrence gets her second field goal. Marian can hold for 1. Wayner's got to get this ball in the front court quickly to avoid the 10-second call, and does so.
Good choice. Wide open.
Wayner for 3. Couldn't get it to go, but Marian extends the possession again. Gerard. Sales got tied up.
Sales caught it. Gerard with a nice pass, but Sales kind of caught it in an awkward position. It's like, okay, I've got a defensive player right in front of me. I'm going to try to take a step and see if she goes with me. She did. There we go. Boom. She went with me. And she just caught it right down the breadbasket there and couldn't really do anything with the basketball.
You see the time on your screen. So still time to kind of run a set, make a pass if you're Marian before taking a final look before halftime.
Okay, X cut. She's got to shoot it. 1 dribble.
Sales couldn't get it to go, and that's the end of the half.
Is it past noon?
So
Sales forgot the bank was closed afternoon.
Marian has not scored in the final 5:52 of the half. Yet they lead by 20 points. 34-14 is the score at the break in this matchup of nationally ranked teams and favorites in the Crossroads League. Stay tuned. The Hoagie Tops halftime show comes your way next as you're watching Marian University women's basketball here on the ISC Sports Network.
Own a home? Here's a tip. Don't dump your garbage in the street. Neighbors get fussy about that sort of thing. Instead, count on Ray's Trash to haul it away. Ray's can supply 96-gallon waste and recycling bins that'll make you the envy of the cul-de-sac. And when you need a roll-off container for that big job, guess who's going to be there for you? That's right, Ray's. Your filth needs a place of its own. Ray's Trash will move it there. You know where to go.
Ray'sTrash.com.
Ray's Trash.
Hi, I'm Query.
And I'm Schultz.
And of course, we do the incredibly creatively and appropriately named Query and Schultz program every Monday on ISC Sports Network. Derek, it airs at what time?
7:30.
Okay, every Monday at 7:30. We're now on season number 2, and if history tells us anything, catch us now because you never know when they pull the plug on it.
How would you say that?
Because it's happened
That's not going to happen here. Comcast, Xfinity 81, ISCSportsNetwork.com, ISC Sports Network, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, so many places to watch Query and Schultz, 7:30 on Monday.
Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you.
Marian University is like a home to me.
Campus is where I made friends that I know will last a lifetime.
Academics, sports, or arts, Marian's got something for you.
Plus, downtown Indy is just 10 minutes away from campus.
I'm a huge sports fan. Living in Indy, I've got the Knights, the Colts, and the Pacers.
Applying was so fast and easy.
I went to Marian for the education, but what I took away was the experience.
Marian University offers an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
Meet Kate. She has a lot to juggle. Family, work, it can lead to trying days and tired nights. But we know Kate, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know at some point her space at a premium life may change. IMCU is here to help Kate and you find your space. Now, add on or remodel with an introductory rate of 1.9% APR on a home equity line of credit. Today, it's all about Kate. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. They've been in business over 35 years. I'm here with Joe Polizzi to talk emergency services. Now, Joe, when I set my house on fire with a toaster, you were actually in my yard before the firefighters left.
Well, Pat, I remember that call like it was yesterday, and although I was disappointed that it was yours, I was happy that I was going to be able to provide some assistance.
You know, this true story, a firefighter actually told me I needed to call someone for emergency services, kind of obvious, and I told him Michaelis was on the way. He said, great, because they're the real deal. Joe, now what do you do in these situations when you show up?
Well, we try to be a calming influence, and we try to find out what the needs are of the family. Everybody's needs are different. Everybody's desires are different. What we try to do is match what we could provide with what they need and do it very smoothly.
I've lived it. If you find yourself needing emergency restoration service in the wake of a fire, flood, or storm, give the Michaelis Corporation a call anytime, 24/7, 844-FIX-INDY.
Pepsi's always had great taste. Today, try great taste with zero sugar. This is the Pepsi with zero compromises. This is Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Welcome back to the PE Center. Greg Regstraw, Pete Smith with you on the ISC Sports Network. Marian leads Indiana Wesleyan by a score of 34-14. Marian did not score in the final 5:52. Indiana Wesleyan scored the last 6 points of the half, and yet Marian still leads by 20 points.
Yeah, you can get in that situation where everything's going so well, and then sometimes, it was after the timeout, I think. I mean, Coach called a timeout, Coach Brooks, and they never scored after that timeout. And you had asked me, what is he talking about this timeout? Well, you talk about taking some time off the clock. You've got I think it's like 34-8 at one time. And, it just didn't end well for them, but yet they've got a 20-point lead at halftime. Now, the flip side of that, Wesleyan now has got a little bit of momentum. I mean, coaches finally can say, hey, we ended the quarter well, we got some good shots, didn't get them to fall, but come out this third quarter and reestablish what we got at the end of the half, which was Marian was not scoring on us.
Our halftime show is sponsored by our friends at Hoagies and Hops at 42nd and Boulevard. It's just 2 miles from the Marian University campus. It's less than 2 miles from my house, and believe me, it is authentic Philly food. It's favorite of the Rakestraw family and the Marian Knights. You should be there too. Stop by and see the folks. Hoagies and Hops open every day but Monday. All right, let's talk about what Marian did so well defensively. Certainly, Indiana Wesleyan simply missed some shots. But again, they held a team that was the national semifinals last year to 5 field goals in the first half. What was Marian doing so well on D?
Oh, well, the first quarter particularly, they really switched screens well. And when they were switching screens, Wesleyan was not taking advantage of sometimes what we call mouse in the house, when you get a smaller player guarding one of their taller players or post players. And when that happened, Marian shot the passing lanes a lot of times, forced Wesleyan to take bad shots, and they converted a lot of them. The other part of that was they did just a really poor job, Wesleyan, on the defensive boards, and Wesleyan gave up a lot of second chance points.
And while we talked about the amount of rebounds that Marian was able to pick up, that kind of balanced out as the half went along. Second chance points were 8-5 in favor of Marian. However, it was turnovers that seemingly was the key to a lot of great looks by Marian. Marian 15-2. The advantage in terms of points off turnovers.
Yeah, and again, the passing lanes were there for them to shoot. They had really active hands. That first quarter, I just got to say, it's got to be the best. And I've done a few Marian games over the years, even when Katie Gerald was here. It was probably the best first quarter I've ever seen Marian play.
Marian led by as many as 26 in the first half, and the score was 34-8. Marian outscored Indiana Wesleyan 19-6 in quarter number 1 and 15-8 in quarter number 2. Knights lead by 20. We'll take this quick timeout. Our M Club halftime highlights come your way next as you're watching Marian University women's basketball here on the ISC Sports Network.
I've always liked Indianapolis. I've been interested in the bigger city life. The community and everything fell into place.
With my degree, I plan on becoming a pediatric nurse. Indianapolis has several hospitals and different options to choose from as to where I should go.
I chose Indianapolis because I love the Pacers, I love the Colts, and this is a basketball city. I just wanted to stay in the city, play in front of my friends and family, and try to give Marian my best.
Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you.
Who's got time for hot dogs and disco music? Your mind's cluttered with thoughts of commercial waste removal. So thank the good Lord above for Ray's Trash. Ray's will collect the intolerable rubbish at all your company's locations up to 6 times a week. That's 42 times in dog weeks. They shred documents and recycle too. And Ray's has roll-off containers for big loads, like construction waste or when your giant dies. Got a business? Get yourself to raystrash.com.
raystrash.com.
Ray's Trash.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Halftime highlights on your screen presented by the M Club. Joining the M Club is the absolute best way to support student athletes at Marian University. For more information, visit marian.edu/M Club. Amani Guy continuing her tremendous play from 3 nights ago. She went 14 of 18, one of 2 players as she and Kennedy Gerard had a double-double on Tuesday. Amani was 7 of 9 from the floor, 16 points and 5 rebounds.
Yeah, she's going to be the emphasis on most of these highlights. There's an assist for her and a really nice pass to Wayner for the layup.
Marian was 7 assists on 15 field goals, and Marian has not been a team that has made many threes nor attempted many. They're 1 of 3 from three-point range today. Everything's been at the basket.
Yeah, they've completely dominated the inside from the offensive rebounding standpoint. There's one of the bright spots there for Wesleyan, for Iowa there.
Indiana Wesleyan, 5 of 24 from the floor for 21%. 1 of 6 from three-point range for 17%. Maddie Lawrence, the only player for Indiana Wesleyan who has made multiple field goals in half number 1.
Yeah, and notice on their highlight clips here, they're all right around the basket. So, I mean, if you're at halftime, you're talking to them about getting the ball closer to the basket and taking better shots. But Guy just had a dominant first half as she's dominated the highlight reel here.
And again, it's been more in terms of those shots around the rim, just the lurking size for Marian. Officially only 2 blocks for the Knights, but that great length clearly has had an impact on those shots in the lane for Indiana Wesleyan.
Absolutely. And the scary part here is that she hits this three. Her first one of the season. I don't know if you saw. I guarantee Coach Pat McKee at Columbus North didn't let her shoot too many threes over the years, but that was a good look. And you see they got to the basket early, but they didn't score in the last, 5 minutes?
Correct. 5 minutes and 52 seconds without a point, and still a 20-point halftime lead.
Yeah. So anything can change the second half coming up here, but a lot of great highlights here.
From an X's and O's standpoint, what changes do you expect from Indiana Wesleyan?
Get closer shots to the basket. Don't settle for 15 to mid-range shots. The 15 to 17-footers, don't take those shots. You've got to attack the basket. You saw in a couple of their highlights they got under Guy's elbow and armpit. And when you do that, you can get that shot off without getting fouled or drawing to foul a lot of times.
Again, for each of these two teams, this is the first of about a 4 or 5 game stretch of league play that kicks in over this weekend and goes kind of right up until what finals week would be. And then, of course, conference play reconvenes across the Crossroads League in early January. Our score at the break, Marian leading Indiana Wesleyan 34-14. Stay tuned. We'll take this quick timeout. Third quarter action comes your way next from the PE Center here on the ISC Sports Network.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. They've been in business for 35-plus years. I'm here with the owner, Richard Michaelis. Hey, Richard, what's the key to the growth over the last 35 years?
Pat, I believe being a family-owned local business that is involved in the community has a lot to do with it.
All right, so you have a lot of services. Tell us about some of those services.
We're really, really strong in the emergency services, smoke, fire damage restoration, storm and water damage restoration, all while working with your insurance company. We also do mold remediation, basement and crawl space waterproofing, foundation repair, and roof repair. We are a full-service company.
All right, as to the owner, we know you wear a lot of hats. What do you do day to day?
I really love being out in the field working with our clients. It gives me a great opportunity to understand their needs so we can take care of them.
Your hands-on approach, I think, has a lot to do with the success of Michaelis. If you find yourself needing their services, give them a call anytime, 24/7 at 844-FIX-INDY. The Michaelis Corporation. Construct, renovate, restore.
Meet Zach. Day and night, rain or shine, even just out for a spin, Zach gets around. But we know Zach, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he's been saving up to trade up. IMCU is here to help Zach and you drive your dream. Now get financing as low as 1.99% APR on a new or used vehicle. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Let's thank our tremendous ISC Sports Network crew, Jake Morris, Sean Walker, Rob Lynch, and Dennis Glover, alongside Pete Smith, Greg Rakestraw with you. This is our first of 4 Marian University broadcasts today on ISC. Coming up in about 5 minutes, it is playoff football for the Knights as they play host to Southwestern College of Kansas. Scott McCauley and Zach Graves have the call from St. Vincent Field. Then we are back at 6 here inside the PE Center for the opening round of the NAIA volleyball tournament. As for a second time this year in a playoff match, Marian takes on Bryan College of Tennessee. Then at 7 o'clock, Joey Lindstrom and Mark Newman have the call of the Regional Women's Soccer Championship as Marian plays Lindsey Wilson of Kentucky. All for you today on the ISC Sports Network. Jordan Reed, the backdoor cut, a sea of hands get in the way, and Marian picks up yet another turnover.
They were sitting on that, Greg. They were just waiting for that backdoor cut. It just never really materialized to set them up enough to get the defensive player to lean too far.
Turnover number 11 committed by Indiana Wesleyan. Ella Collier back out there with 2 fouls. Lawrence pokes that ball free from Guy. And the shot clock sitting on 10.
I think Wesleyan is also going to come out anytime they score. They're going to have full court pressure. They're going to apply the pressure to them and see if Marian can speed up, try to speed Marian up, because they're right now playing very comfortable.
Here's Downard. Collier looking to get on the scoring column. Ball's got to go up from Downard. She can't pick it up in the shot clock violation. Yep. Knew she couldn't go give it to be a traveling violation.
Yeah, good defense that time. That's one of the best defensive segments we've seen out of Indiana Wesleyan here this afternoon.
Scoring drought hits 6.5 minutes now for Marian. And again, yes, the team that is up by 20 has not scored in 6.5 minutes.
Just a reflection of how well they clicked on offense and the offensive boards that first 10 minutes of the game, 12 minutes of the game.
And another turnover.
Great defense. Help defense.
Trailer 3 for Ella Collier. And Amani Guy couldn't get the rebound to go. Gerard, another board. Needs a little help. Collier saves it, and from the backcourt violation, but turns it over.
Not sure what coach was wanting. He acted like he was upset with the officials. I sure didn't see anything that merited getting chewed out.
I think the only thing he could have asked for would have been, was he signaling timeout? That'd be the only thing that maybe, knowing Gerard was stuck in the lane there, but only a guess. And here comes a 30-second timeout taken by the Knights. So some of the offensive woes continuing for Marian. So with that, Coach Brooks will call a timeout. Let's thank our friends at IMCU. Indiana Members Credit Union is proud to support Marian University and now offers a free Marian Knights debit card with a free checking account. Get your Knights debit card today and show your support. Visit any IMCU branch or sign up online now at imcu.com. Membership savings required and federally insured by the NCUA.
I think it's a good timeout by Coach Brooks from the standpoint of again, you haven't scored now since the last 5:52 of the second quarter. And you've had a couple decent looks. I wouldn't say they're perfect looks, but you've had a couple decent looks. Let's just settle down again here. We got to get back on track.
Lawrence splits the defenders, and that's a good foul. Even though it's Downard's third, it's a good foul to give because it prevented a wide-open layup. So first player for either side with 3 fouls today, the fifth-year senior from Cardinal Ritter.
Neither team has played any kind or shown any kind of zone defense opportunities. Played man the entire contest.
Indiana Wesleyan has yet to have an official shot so far in this half because of 2 turnovers. Marian 0 for 3 from the floor. And that'll be a foul. I think that's on Guy holding the cutter. First foul against Amani Guy.
See if they run the same play. Oh, it's going to be on the baseline. Okay. They had a triple screen on that weak side as the coaches. It was really an interesting play. I've seen double screens, but they had a triple screen coming from that deep baseline corner.
Actually, the second foul on Amani Guy. Reed from the elbow. Couldn't get it to go. Reed has missed both of her 2 field goal tries today.
Okay, handoff. A little sloppy on the pass.
And Collier trying to get on the board for the first time today and does.
Boy, they needed that. And she's, with the foul trouble in the first half, she's had a slow start, but they needed that to get her off that schneid there, 34 points.
Collier averaging 10 points per game. It's been a bit of a slow offensive start for the sophomore from Danville. She was Marian's leading scorer for a good chunk of last year. Guy is like trying to pass through a wall.
When she gets those arms and hands up.
Collier.
Drop step.
Got stuck in midair.
Yep. I would have liked to see her drop step. She thought she got fouled on the wrist.
Reed. What she does best. Yep. Her ability to again take a rebound and drive it. Bossy comes up a little bit gimpy for Marian.
Slow developing play here, but that's okay.
Lane opens for Collier. Could not make that 19-footer, but again, that's a good shot for her.
It is, yeah.
Ella now 1 of 4 from the floor in today's game.
If you're just joining us, if you would have seen Marian the first quarter, you would have thought we were watching. I mean, they just were so efficient in everything. Offensive rebound, shot selection, defensive intensity. They played great defense.
Lawrence, the 3, not there, but when you hold the opposing team to 5 of 27 from the floor, you don't have to be as concerned about how you're playing offensively. Again, credit Indiana Wesleyan what they have done defensively in the last 10 minutes. But yet during that time, themselves, they have scored 6 points.
Yeah, 6 points.
Frazier will check in for Indiana Wesleyan. Frazier 1 of 3 from the floor in the first half. Trexler back in there as well. Shot clock's going to be a factor here for Marian as it hits 10. Guy just trying to back her way down.
I like the shot, though.
Yep.
She likes to go off that left shoulder, but when she drop steps right shoulder, defensive players usually aren't playing them that way.
Frazier, good setup there. That time shot was blocked. And that was tipped out of bounds by Collier. They're going to call Collier for a foul. Yep.
I thought she was going to get away, but she did foul there, and that's going to be her third.
Yeah, so Collier and Downard each have 3 for Marian. Third whistle against the Knights here so far in the quarter. Both Collier and Downard stay on the floor for now. Since halftime, 1 made basket. Bossy got a hand on that and again gets the steal.
Yeah, that's like they played defense in the first quarter right there. They were ahead of the cutter even. That was strong defense there by the Knights. Boy, everything cleared for her.
Downard off 1 foot. Pretty. Abby Downard, her 4th field goal. So Indiana Wesleyan so far, 3 turnovers and 4 missed shots since halftime. Nice feed. Nutley for 3 in the corner and got that one. Nutley has made both threes in the game for Indiana Wesleyan. Their first points since halftime. Nutley 2 for 2 from 3-point range. Her teammates 0 for 7.
Nice move.
Downard really beat 4 defenders on that play.
Boy, she refused the screen, and the defensive players thought she was going to use the screen. Downard with a great job there.
The coach's kid, the coach on the floor for the Knights. Trexler for 3 and misses everything. And now Collier again rebound and can lead the break. Graduated as the all-time leading scorer in the history of Hendricks County. Boys or girls.
Boys or girls, yeah. Coached by Kaylee May.
Draws 2 defenders. Going to be called for steps, and I didn't think so.
Well, I didn't see that either.
Yep. I thought that was the perfect execution of the mic and drill that time.
When I heard here's the look. Gosh, I do not see that. And I heard the whistle. I thought there was going to be a foul, and she was going to have a 3-point opportunity.
So 40-17. Just the 6th Marian turnover. Frazier. Going to be a blocking foul on Bossy. And Lillian Frazier to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Boy, that
high
was
school, North Judson San Pierre. Reached the football semi-state championship before losing last night.
Designated play for her to get a shot off, that's for sure. Complete ISO there.
We saw her last game in her high school career on the ISC Sports Network. As that one is no good. That was in the semi-state round at Logansport last year for girls basketball. That was against Tipton. Majestic Sails in there for Marian.
Guy
a bit of a breather.
Yeah.
Marian has extended their halftime lead by 2. Downard gets downhill, kind of threw that out with the rim again shot clock-wise, and Gerard just scrapping and gets it to go. For Gerard, her 8th rebound today, just her 2nd field goal.
You know, whenever Guy exits the game, she just steps up in that post. She moves over and basically takes what we call the 5 spot. Nice drive, reverse layup, and a foul.
Ann Reed gets her first basket. So Jordan Reed, and you can kind of see her saying, let's go, come on, let's get this going. And again, when she can get downhill, that is where she is at her best.
Yeah, she got in her comfort zone there, but really nice reverse layup there.
So Reed to the free throw line and connects. Merrill drawing the defensive assignment. And understandably so, given kind of where they are in the game. Hand check foul can be called against Davis, but other than the defensive intensity has been lacking for Indiana Wesleyan, but you have to pick it up knowing you got to create some sort of spark. And you're sitting on 21 points with 13 minutes left to play.
They have to mix something up here.
And it is a hard Marian team to pressure because of their experience.
Really good duck in, drew the foul.
Foul is on Nutley because she was using her knee to kind of drive Sales out of the post. So the freshman from Madison picks up her first foul.
But a great duck in by Sales. She just got behind, so she used her knee there to foul.
Just the second foul called against Indiana Wesleyan. And perhaps you're used to watching high school hoops and not women's college basketball. 5 per quarter gets you the 2-shot penalty. Collier weaving her way through traffic and scoring.
She wanted to score so bad. She was in a hurry when she tried to catch it at the top of the key, but once she gathered it, it was going up, and she knew she had an advantage.
3 for Davis. Does not go, and Sales will snag the rebound. Now Bossy sets, fires, and scores. Second made 3 for the Knights.
Now they're back on track.
And here comes the timeout by Indiana Wesleyan. Full timeout, we'll take it with them. Marian leads by 26, matching their largest of the game. And we're back in a moment as you're watching Marian University women's basketball on the ISC Sports Network.
This is the Pepsi for America's best barbecue. Worthy of 100-mile detours and 1,000 likes. Looks good. This is the Pepsi for mopping, dipping, and dousing. Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you. This is the Pepsi for serious fans and serious eats. This is the Pepsi for Sundays at the ballpark and days off at your favorite pizza joint. Right, Aaron?
Best slice in New York.
Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you.
Back at the PE Center, Greg Rakestraw, Pete Smith with you. A reminder that the Marian football game is now underway against Southwestern College of Kansas. That is in the NAIA opening round. Indiana Wesleyan was set to host a football opening game as well, but due to the unintended use of an ineligible player, Indiana Wesleyan elected to pull themselves out of the football playoffs, which is a shame for that young program. Gerard with the block. But want to make a tip of the cap to the folks from Indiana Wesleyan from realizing a mistake had been made and making I think what was the right move, a very difficult move to make, but again, a nod to the folks in Marion, Indiana for running that athletic program in the proper fashion.
Nice job by Gerard using that screen there for Sales, from Sales. Yeah, that's a tough one. I've seen that happen in my years as a coach in high school basketball when ADs can check, and in this situation, I know they had a graduate student that just didn't have enough credits from the material I've read, and it was just a sad situation and just too bad.
Because you really commend them for the job they have done to build that football program quickly. Ball movement, Bossy for three and misses everything. Shot's got to go back up. Shot clock did not reset. Downer gets it off in time. Missed everything. Again, if you're Indiana Wesleyan, you feel great about how you're playing defensively. And you're down by 26
Pretty well.
Especially from, say, the first quarter on. Let's say second quarter, third quarter. The defense has been there for the Wildcats.
It's not a lot of energy in their step, though. When you get down this far, it's just tough to draw much. I mean, you play, but it's just you're fighting such an uphill battle.
Lawrence gets the bucket.
And here's the man-to-man pressure that they have to try to pick up the pace, make Marian make some turnovers, commit some turnovers, or take some fast shots. And I think this Marian group, as you said, all the veterans they have, they've been in this situation before. They've milked leads pretty good, just with a different head coach this year.
And that'll be a foul against Frazier. Just the fourth foul this half, so no free throws just yet. And there have been a grand total of 11 free throws shot in today's game.
It's been a very well cleanly played, well officiated.
It's two veteran teams. I mean, this is what you expect. And Gerard. Foul going to be called against Merrill. Again, hand check is the call. And two free throws coming up for Kennedy Gerard.
That was a tough one there. I thought she really played some pretty good defense. Here's the look. She does have that arm bar out there. She put her arm out there for a second. Foul's a foul, but a lot of stuff has been going on that's been a little bit more physical than that. But when you have a lead, you can play like that and draw those type of fouls and see if they're going to be called and get to the line.
Merrill, a part of those 3A state championship teams at Northwestern with Bostic and Layden. Collier rips away the offensive rebound. That is offensive rebound number 14 for the Knights. Bossy for three. Not that time. Sales on the hustle.
Wildcats just cannot rebound the basketball. Just killed him this game.
And Downard, realizing that Frazier couldn't stay with her, went right at her. And now Abby Downard will shoot free throws for the first time today.
Wow, I enjoy watching Abby play. She plays so intelligent. She kind of reminds me of the girl version of Christian Stewart on the other side for the Knights. As a point guard, the leader. She does a wonderful job of taking care of the ball. She came out and established herself in this third quarter, drained to three, made a great move, split the defense for two, and she's had a really solid third quarter.
Downard makes one of the two. And Indiana Wesleyan just unable to put a dent into this Marian lead.
Again, overall, just a little bit of a gap, but all the perimeter switches that Marian has made has forced them to shoot outside shots, and typically they're contested, or in that case, about a step out of their shooting range.
That last three was from Izzy Reed, who just checked in from Greenwood Christian Academy, one of their great single-A program on the south side. Drive and dish. Bossy lost the handle.
Yep.
That'll be called for a violation. Turnover number 9 committed by the Knights, and all have come in the second and third quarters.
Don't let her get too close to shoot it. They are going to
Reed will attack.
Wow. Got that ball awfully deep.
Jump stop. Missed the jump shot, and that is the end of the third quarter. And Indiana Wesleyan has scored single-digit points in every quarter today. Marian leads 49-23. Last 10 minutes of this one when we come back on the ISC Sports Network.
The minute I stepped foot on campus, I didn't want to leave.
Everyone here is about helping you succeed.
It's hard work, but it's totally worth it. I have so much support from my advisors.
The nursing program is why I chose Marian.
I'm studying to be a teacher.
I'm a business major.
My professors really challenge me, and I know I'll be ready for my career.
A great education is the best thing you could ever do for yourself.
Marian University, an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Back inside the PE Center. And again, Marian's stifling defense continues. 49-23 the score. Number 10, Marian. Number 13, Indiana Wesleyan. Wesleyan 8 of 36 from the field. Marian, under 50%, 21 of 46. Again, while Marian's offense has been a bit stuck in the mud in quarters 2 and 3, they've grown their lead because of what they have done at the defensive end.
And second chance opportunities, too. They got a couple offensive rebounds that kept the shot clock going. Guy back in here to start the fourth quarter. What a great first half she had. And they're going to go to her right away.
Immediate double, trying to find Kennedy Girard, and the turnover. Number 10 by Marian.
But no transition points, no what I call gravy points. Wesleyan's had to earn all their baskets. They've no transition points that I can remember, Greg, have they?
Fast break points for the day. A Blutarski,
I was
0.0 for Indiana Wesleyan.
I do not have my live stats like you do in front of me, so I was thinking, I'm not sure they've scored a layup all day in transition or anything.
Marian's had just 5 to that point, but and again, I think Indiana Wesleyan's a team that relies more on that than clearly Marian does. Girard gets downhill. Nice feed to Guy, but she missed it.
And she made all those the first half around the basket.
And Guy has missed her last 4 field goal tries. Still 7 of 13 for the day.
Including a three-pointer.
And she clearly has a chance, depending on how this fourth quarter goes, of being the NAIA National Player of the Week, Crossroads League Player of the Week. Shot is good by Frazier. Because again, Guy had a double-double, as did Girard, but Guy had 30, a career high on Tuesday, and has 16 and 6 today. Speaking of Girard, she already has double-digit rebounds with 10. 7 points for the former Pike Red Devil. Guy just waiting to see where that double team is coming from. Oh, that's going to be a double dribble.
Well, one official called it. The other one thought there was knocked out of her hands. Now we'll take a look at it here. Picked it up. Well.
Now she's saying that ball was knocked free.
It was. Yep. I think our crew is right on it. Great job by the crew.
Nutley has a couple of made threes, and that'll be a blocking foul.
Yeah, she's just a little behind. The shoulder came down, but she also had a half step on her. So when the shoulder came down, she was in position to get to the basket for that one. Here's a good look at it.
Wayner was still moving.
Yeah, still moving. Love the fact Wayner's still trying to take a charge, though, when you're up 24 points with 8 minutes to go in the game.
Nutley has not missed from the field today. 2 made threes and 3 made free throws.
Not a bad job coming off the bench.
She becomes the first Indiana Wesleyan player in double figures points-wise. And again, Indiana Wesleyan's not going to set up a press.
Yeah.
Just because of so few made shots. Collier in a tough spot. Gets bailed out with a bit of a foul. But 9 made field goals, 7 made free throws does not give you a chance to set that up. Now, again, we're having Reed play the point of that pressure defensively. That is a weapon for Indiana Wesleyan.
Yeah, a tremendous athlete.
And now back into the
Phone,
man-to-man
yeah.
at half court.
Yeah. This is set up for Collier. Good back cut.
Downer to
Yeah.
scoop and score.
Nice job.
And if you can score with the shot clock in single digits with this lead for Marian, you've had a great possession.
That was one of their best possessions since the first half, actually.
Nutley on the low block.
Boy,
Continues her perfect afternoon.
They see a mismatch there with Nutley, and she is really playing strong around the basket. Good high-low.
Sales from the free throw line. Good look that wouldn't fall. Chance to cut this to 20 or under. Reed, the runner.
I call that a transition basket. That's the first one I'm going to give them. Yeah, they didn't really have a wide-open layup, but it was in transition. Points off fast break, so they must have heard me.
So suddenly it feels like the lid is off the basket for Indiana Wesleyan, as they have scored 8 points in the first 3 minutes of the quarter.
Good face-up.
Collier for three. Answer. Her first made three of the day for Marian, just their third. And we have a timeout on the floor. Take a look here at Ella Collier with the bucket.
The only bad thing about this possession, the floor balance, but all five all five Knights were on the left side of the floor. There's a coach, you like to have your floor balanced a little bit more.
Let's thank our friends at Miller Transportation. Proud to transport the Knights to their next contest on the road. Family owned and operated since the 1930s and proud partners of Marian University Athletics. Facilities in Indianapolis, Louisville, and Columbus, Ohio. We specialize in transportation for collegiate and professional sports groups, as well as school groups, corporate travel, weddings, private charters, bourbon tours, and more. Our fleet consists of premium 56-passenger motor coaches, air-conditioned school buses, trolleys, executive shuttle buses, Mercedes Sprinter vans, SUVs, and Cadillac sedans. Give them a call at 317-244-8599 or online at millertransportation.com to request your quote.
Good buses. I can speak. We rode a lot of Miller Transportation buses when I coached at Guerin Catholic, and when we had big games, we got to take the charters. And they did a wonderful job for us when I was coaching.
Quick look at the upcoming schedule for Marian. They will be once again in conference play at Grace coming up on Tuesday. Then they will play 2 games over Thanksgiving weekend at a really cool event. It's called The Show. Ken French, who is the men's head coach at Oakland City, puts this on every year. It's down in Kingsport, Tennessee. There are over 20 schools that go to Kingsport. You get 1 or 2 games on Saturday or Sunday. A couple of teams will play on Friday. Marian will play Midway and Reinhardt coming up in non-conference play next weekend. So 54-31. Sales. Good job to get a hand in the passing lane.
It's a long skip pass when you've got that sagging defense like that. Hadn't really sucked in Marian on that opportunity.
Marian out rebounding Indiana Wesleyan 34-20. Nutley on the basket cut.
She's played well.
And scores again.
Played well.
So she's got 14 of the IWU 33. She's also got 14 of Indiana Wesleyan's 21 bench points in today's game.
Knights just need to run their offense now, use the shot clock, draw a foul, run their offense. And
game clock is your friend if you're Marian.
Right.
And that's going to be a moving screen, I believe, on Gerard.
Yeah. Credit Wesleyan for trying to fight through the top of that screen, not going behind it. If you go behind the screen, you're cooked. You're not going to get a call like that. But here you see the screen. Tries to fight over the top of it. I think if Wesleyan would trap some of those screens more, maybe they can get themselves a little bit closer here, and there's an easy call to make there.
Gerard with the hold, her second quick foul. Third foul of the quarter against the Knights. But it basically has to be points every time down for Indiana Wesleyan at this juncture. And Amani Guy will check back in. By my total, this is the first time Gerard has been off the floor today. She played 34 minutes. Frazier will fire from 17. Good look that wouldn't go. It's going to be a foul on Marian contesting the rebound.
It's going to be Collier, I think. It's going to be 4 on her. Let's see. Let's see if we can see. Yep. I really didn't see that one. I thought she had pretty good inside position.
4th team foul of the quarter. So, again, the next foul will be the double bonus.
Nice step on
Frazier got the roll. Frazier now with 7. Both the leading scorers today for Indiana Wesleyan have come off the bench. And Frazier, their leading scorer on the season, who normally plays in a reserve role, but obviously plays starters minutes. And this is under 20 for the first time in a while at 54-35, but with 5 minutes left to go in the game. And Sales got bumped on the cut.
Reed just too late on the cut there. I'd say if you could say just a quick difference, defensively, Marian has played those cuts much better, open cuts in that out of the 1-4 offense than IWU has today.
That is the 4th foul of the quarter against Indiana Wesleyan, so we'll see free throws at both ends on every foul going forward. Collier, I have no idea how she found Wayner on that. She was guarded by 2 defenders and the baseline there. Guy, Sales, missed it.
Right idea.
Yep.
Sales just didn't quite gather herself before going up with that shot. Transition points.
And that, I believe, will be a charge. We'll see.
Yep, it was. Well, we'll see. I think I saw one official. Greg, you may have seen the other one.
Well, the only question is, was Sales outside of the semicircle? She was.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see how it gets adjudicated. It will be an offensive foul. And again, our replay crew shows you that was the absolute right call.
Coach Brooks going to let Collier go finish this game with 4 fouls probably.
I would do the same.
Yeah.
At this stage. Again, elongated possessions are your friend right now for Marian. You hear the countdown of the shot clock. Downard finds a seam. Good look that would not fall.
Take that shot at the end of the shot clock anytime.
Guy. Every turnover is like gold at this point for Marian. And this has already been the highest scoring quarter of the game for Indiana Wesleyan with 12. Sales. A lot of contact there, no whistle. Second effort, that gets the whistle. And Majestic Sales will shoot 2. She is already on the all-time name team in the history of the ISC Sports Network. And again, she really is the only new face we have seen play today for Marian. And Marian returned the majority of their top 9 from last year. Macy Willoughby, senior from Carroll, elected to say, hey, I'm moving on with life. And Tamia Perryman, unfortunately, injured in Marian's scrimmage against Detroit Mercy before the season started. So you'll see Tamia on the bench, but she is out with a season-ending injury, the young lady from Fishers High School.
I knew they had 11 returning lettermen coming back this year.
Sales goes 1 of 2 from the line.
Always takes a little time to transition in with a new coach, too. And veteran, outstanding coach with NAIA championships under his belt, but it's not Katie Gerald's. And these girls all came to play for Katie Gerald's. So you got to go through that transition period. You know, they're going to, unless something drastic changes, they're going to be 4-0 in the state of Indiana this year, 0-2 against the Iowa schools as they continue on to moving play around the Thanksgiving time.
Frazier's 3 does not go. Sales, good board, and able to rip that away from Van Dyke, and then wisely realizes to find a guard and does that in plenty of time. Well, I think it says a lot that so many of these young ladies like to stay at Marian.
Mm-hmm.
Collier. Again, she is the queen of the mid-range. Loves that 10 to 15-footer. Collier, a quiet 9 today for the Knights.
Well, and if you missed the first half, picked up 2 fouls and stayed on the pine most of that first half.
McKinley is in for the first time, the freshman from Columbus North. She has the on-ball defense for Marian as we speak. Merrill throws it away.
Yep.
Turnover number 17 committed by Indiana Wesleyan, or you could say forced by Marian, given how they have played.
Well, I'll tell you, they've played some great stretches of defensive basketball. A good cut by Collier.
Just missed it. But Guy going to be called for the foul on the rebound, and Trexler will get 2 free throws.
Watch Guy come in and just enough contact, the elbow, hit Trexler, I think, knocked her down the floor.
Trexler just 1 of 7 from the floor today, has not shot free throws. I would expect a much closer game the next time these two teams get together.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be January the 22nd up in Marion.
I mean, this ball game was decided in the first quarter.
And again, if you look at the way the men's game last night and this game today unfolded, again, you're not stunned at who won. You're stunned at the margin of victory going in opposite directions. Stay tuned. We will have a brief post-game show for you. And again, we encourage those of you watching from the Marian perspective to click over to the football game.
Oh, yeah. Stay around.
Our crew will be back for the volleyball regional against Bryan at 6 tonight.
Yeah, too slow move right there by Guy. Took her too long, but got him there. She got on the floor.
Right back. Yep. McQuay on the rebound and was going to take it out, but when everybody rotated away from her, Shanice McQuay gets the bucket. Junior from South Jordan, Utah. I mean, it's mostly an Indiana roster, but Wayner and McQuay out of state. Sales from Ohio as well. Frazier, good move. Merrill for 3. Got that one. Merrill gets her first bucket of the game. For Indiana Wesleyan, just their 3rd made triple. But it's a 19-point game with less than 2 minutes to go. McKinley has her pocket picked by Frazier and got the lay-in.
Whoop, whoop. Whoopie-doopie.
I think there's going to be a foul called against Merrill. Marian gets kind of bailed out there, and McKinley will shoot 2. You referenced the fact that she and Imani Guy both played for our good friend Pat McKee, the longtime head coach, state championship-winning coach at Columbus North. Pat has retired as the girls' coach down at Columbus North. Enjoying life in Florida these days is Pat.
I met Pat when he was an AAU coaching guru while he was a sports writer for the Indianapolis Star.
I was going to say, Pat is an icon of those of us in the media.
Yes.
Makes us look smart by getting into coaching and winning a lot at Columbus North. McKinley goes 1 for 2.
Yeah, he finally found a way to get into high school coaching while, a lot of things were going on with Pat in his life. And from that standpoint, always loved coaching. I think I met him in 1984. Was coaching AAU basketball.
And Frazier stepped on the sideline. If you tell Steve Brooks before the game starts, you're going to score 60 today.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he would have thought that was enough.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they have led by really 20 almost since the beginning of the second quarter.
Well, they had 34 points when you put it in perspective with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Correct.
Just an outstanding start. And as I mentioned earlier, arguably in the times I've been able to help broadcast Marian University basketball games in the women's side, that's the best first 12 minutes I've seen them play.
Leah Seib will check in from New Pal.
Another Dragon.
Our timeout coming here. Full timeout. Let's take it with them. 60-42. Marian leads this one in the final minute as you're watching on the ISC Sports Network.
Own a home? Here's a tip. Don't dump your garbage in the street. Neighbors get fussy about that sort of thing. Instead, count on Ray's Trash to haul it away. Ray's can supply 96-gallon waste and recycling bins that'll make you the envy of the cul-de-sac. And when you need a roll-off container for that big job, guess who's going to be there for you? That's right, Ray's. Your filth needs a place of its own. Ray's Trash will move it there. You know where to go.
RaiseTrash.com.
Raise Trash.
Hi, I'm Query.
And I'm Schultz.
And of course, we do the incredibly creatively and appropriately named Query and Schultz program every Monday on ISC Sports Network. Derek, it airs at what time?
7:30.
Okay, every Monday at 7:30. We're now on season number 2, and if history tells us anything, catch us now because you never know when they pull the plug on it.
Why would you say that?
Because it's happened
That's not going
before.
to happen here. Comcast, Xfinity 81, ISCSportsNetwork.com, ISC Sports Network, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, so many places to watch. Query and Schultz, 7:30 on Monday.
Back for the final time to the PE Center. 60 seconds left to play. Marian has been in control of this one since scoring the first 10 points of the game. This is the rare game that had 0 lead changes in it. And again, not what's expected when these two get together. And last time Indiana Wesleyan played here, they won. It was the conference championship game.
First time in the last 10 meetings, I believe, that they've won.
Trexler from the baseline corner, not that time. Kenna Gray in the game for Marian, freshman from New Bethel, Ohio. Last touch by Indiana Wesleyan. And they'll get together again a couple of months from now, and frankly, you almost plan that these two teams see each other 3 times in a year.
Right.
That you'll see each other at some point in the conference tournament, if not the national tournament.
Yeah, they've been the trendsetters in the conference, that's for sure, in the Crossroads.
Aaliyah Evans in the game, just checked the ball in from Greensburg High School. Here's McKinley. Here's Leah Seib. So both New Pal Dragons have gotten in today's game.
Nice cut.
McKinley fouled, and Alexa McKinley will have a chance to shoot a pair of free throws. McKinley has played in 5 of the 6 games so far this year. And connects from the line. These are her first free throws of her collegiate career. And makes them both.
Good on both of them. Good stroke.
Frazier, blocking foul going to be called. They'll go against Kenna Gray. And Lillian Frazier will shoot 2 free throws. Kenna getting to play in her 3rd game of the season.
See the drive there. Nice thing is she tried to get in front of the ball and not only take a charge, but stop the drive, but
so Frazier makes both of her free throws. And frankly, McKinley has to just trot this ball into the front court, and that is the closure of business today. A surprisingly one-sided game for Marian. They win at 62-44. Pete, your final thoughts on this one?
Just one game of the season, but a great start for Marian to get them 1-0 in the Crossroads League. IWU's just got to chalk this up to the fact, hey, learn from this. We got off to a terrible start. You have to play with more intensity. And I'll tell you, Guy and just the whole crew played with great energy to start the game.
Amani Guy did not score a point in the second half, yet she was the leading scorer for the game.
16, I think.
With 16.
Yeah.
13 for Abby Downer, 10 rebounds for Kennedy Gerard. Again, Nutley with 14. She and Lillian Frazier, the 2 freshmen, combined for 25 points off the bench, more than half of Indiana Wesleyan's offense today.
Yeah, they were the 2 highlights for the Wildcats.
Marian shot 44% from the floor. Indiana Wesleyan just 33%. Marian out-rebounded IWU 38-23. Led second chance points 14-5. In fact, the Indiana Wesleyan starters, 12 points in today's game.
Yeah.
With that, we'll bid you a fond farewell from the PE Center. Tonight's game presented in part by BSN Sports, the preferred provider of apparel for Marian Knights Athletics. By the Carson Insurance Agency, proud supporter of the Marian Knights. By Hoagies and Hops, authentic Philly food just 2 miles from campus. By the Michaelis Corporation, no one answers your prayers or the phones quicker than Michaelis. By Miller Transportation, family owned and operated since the 1930s. And by Ortho Indy, you were meant to perform. For Pete Smith and our entire ISC Sports Network crew, this is Greg Rakestraw. Thanks for joining us on the ISC Sports Network.
Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you.
Marian University is like a home to me.
Campus is where I made friends that I know will last a lifetime.
Academics, sports, or arts, Marian's got something for you.
Plus, downtown Indy is just 10 minutes away from campus.
I'm a huge sports fan. Living in Indy, I've got the Knights, the Colts, and the Pacers.
Applying was so fast and easy.
I went to Marian for the education, but what I took away was the experience.
Marian University offers an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship